Why? That made no sense to me.
I love sports. It's my hobby. It's my life.
Ugh, only vomits and pukes do that. All right, guys, live episode 10, Sports Cards Nonsense, with my esteemed colleague, Jesse Gibson. So that was the intro to our oldest video that's still public. Is that what that was? When is that from?
A pre-ringer.
So that, I'm going to say that was like, what, November? December of
October 24th, 2020. That's what that was.
Was that your first on camera?
No. This was, I don't know why. I remember that when we first got signed up with the Ringer that we had to like kind of clear out some old content.
Oh, I know why. I'm a psychopath.
And some of that content got deleted. This is the oldest episode still living, episode 10.
All right.
But that was the that's the intro music, baby.
That is setting the tone for today's discussion. We are starting off today. It's been a slow week, quite frankly, in news and everything else. We are going to do a little bit of a look back.
Can we call it what I said? I like the name. Can I?
I don't remember what you said. So it's not goulash.
Blast from the past.
There you go. Blast from the past episode. Old recommendations that I got terribly wrong. I'm going to review some of my card ladder collection portfolio and see how destroyed I've been on my investment collection pieces, whatever.
We are also going to hear from the guests, or our, not guests, but our listeners, their bad investment options and mailbag.
Okay. There you go.
And then we also have new product release. We're going to do a deep dive.
Select football is an interesting one to me. Actually, I literally just got a text message from my GTS rep about solicitation. $735 a box. We'll talk about that price. I don't know what it's going for.
Do you think that's okay for you to say that? Like, do you think they don't want you to say that?
I don't care.
Huh.
That's a useless account to me anyways.
$735 is what they're selling it to you at.
Correct. It wasn't allocational. This is the rebuy.
Oh.
Allocation, I'm sure, was much less than that, but I don't know what allocation was. I didn't get any allocated.
Okay.
It's a tiny account.
I got you. Okay.
Well, start off. Fire it up.
Then in that case, big picture.
Oh,
I haven't gotten to use that for a while. Blast from the past episode. We're gonna go back and view. Well, we'll get to view. I guess you'll get to listen to.
You'll see it. We'll
post on YouTube. If you're not already familiar, we do post clips on YouTube now. Again.
If you haven't made me feel terrible about myself in the next 15 minutes, you have not done your job correctly.
Okay, I was about to say.
Yeah, I really want you to.
Gonna be good.
I want you to pretend you're me and just really rip my life apart.
I mean, here's the thing. We all made mistakes, right? Back in 2001. For the most part, this stuff is going to come from 2001. January 2001.
There's nothing coming from
2011. Nope. 2021. What is wrong with me?
It's like a stupidity that oozes out of you.
I feel like I would have done that even without the camera on, but man, maybe it's still.
I just like the fact though that you were like, we're gonna talk about
doubling down.
Yeah, we're gonna talk about mistakes from 2001. What is a mistake? You were in 8th grade in 2001, sir.
9th grade, sir. You were only
No, you weren't. Yeah. I was in 9th grade.
I know. Well,
I'm a year ahead of you.
So first off, you are a year ahead of me. You're only a few months older than me.
Right,
though.
but in 2001, you were in 8th grade.
No, I was in 9th grade. In September of 2001.
Oh, you started. Okay.
Yes.
September of 01, I would have started my sophomore year. So you would have been
sophomore. Yeah.
That's right.
I remember because I was hiding in the gym. We were doing laps in gym class, and they...
You're like, nope.
Me and a buddy and a couple other people were hiding in the stairwell, and someone came, and they came like, hey, guys, you got to come here. Something's on the TV. And they said they blew up the White House, and that's when we went out.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it was very. Things got this. This is taking a turn.
Blast from the past, dude.
Blast from the past, not that far past.
Not terrorist events from the past.
Yeah, this is going to be 2021.
Play the first clip.
January. We're going to get right into it. Is
this our first Ringer episode?
This is our first Ringer episode. Yes.
Okay. I remember being so proud.
Let's move into our next segment. This is actually kind of like my favorite little segment here. J-Bo there.
Also, the accent is beyond the pale.
That's
in these
funny,
first episodes. I don't know what it is.
Did you notice that in my personal life?
Yeah, well, whenever you talk about Boston stuff or you're around Boston people, yes.
Or
yeah.
I'm hitting the sauce, my accent comes out.
If you have your Shirley Temple, Mike is known to have half of a drink and then Boston accent just start going crazy.
All right, give me the first.
Throw some names out. Jesse, go ahead and introduce it, sweetheart. Tell the people what they're missing.
Okay, guys. Buy, sell, Matthew Stafford. Let's go.
So, Stafford, I am a buy on.
I was right about one.
First off, I was going to say, these aren't all completely terrible.
This was right before. This is the offseason before he signed with the Rams.
So
I think Matthew Stafford's actually fairly cheap. He's got some options. He's leaving Detroit. If he goes to a team like Denver, if he goes to Indianapolis Colts, if he goes to San Francisco, those are teams that are legitimate contenders overnight, and he's not that expensive. I kind of like Stafford. I'm a buy on Stafford right now.
All right. overall, buy on Stafford. Not
at the time.
I'm going to say that may be the highlight of this segment as far as you getting things right.
Okay, give me a bad one now. I don't care about the good.
Now,
Deshaun Watson.
Deshaun, super talented guy. I mean, top 5 talent guy in the league.
Oh, this is
weird
unfair.
situation in Houston. His stuff is so expensive right now, though. His Prism PSA 10 silvers are doing $900.
What are they doing now?
So I do also have
200?
pricing on some of these things. So for Deshaun Watson silver pricing for a PSA 10, right now they do $261,
And they were 900 then?
and that was like bad.
What was I saying? Sell it?
Well, let's find out.
boy.
850 to 900. They had dropped as low as 400 in season. So I'm actually a sell on Deshaun. I think he's a great player.
2 for 2, baby.
I mean, but you still overall, you still were a buy if it wasn't so high at whatever.
I was a sell at 900. That's a win.
In terms of hobby value, I would sell him until I know where he's going to end up because he's leaving Houston too,
I
probably.
do think he's interesting, by the way,
Trey-
in Cleveland. Like, if he ends up playing, like, I think he's going to be the clear starter this year.
Well, other people are starting to think that too. He's actually gone up in value over the last maybe month. He's had
Makes
a steady
sense.
incline. So,
I mean, he's like a top 5 talent in the league when he's right. So
all right.
Young.
Look at you, TRAE. You got the pronunciation right. I'm proud of you, big guy.
learning.
Yeah, so Trey Young, I'm a buy on. Trey Young stuff had gotten really expensive and then kind of danced into the opposite.
So
I have my own Trae Young story, by the way.
Okay.
I
go
bought
ahead.
4 cards the same day, probably about that time. All PSA 10 Prism base rookies. 2 Trae Youngs, 2 John Morants. I bought them for $2,000, $500 each, because they were doing $600 at the time, and they were going to trend up.
Okay. These are base, right?
That
Okay.
did not happen.
That card, the base PSA 10 Prism,
150 right now?
right now,
Yeah. Is it even that 100? 82. What?
divide that number by 2,
41?
$41.
Holy crap. In my defense, that is actually, it's not a defense.
Yeah,
of
let's
that.
hear the defense.
That is crazy. He's $41. Luca's $250.
What's actually amazing
Holy smokes.
is that this episode may have been at like the peak pricing for number of the guys that we talk about. Like in
January
this
of
segment.
21.
Yeah, it was January. Oh, was it January 9th or like right in January of 2021? Was he hit like $812? There's 12,000 of those cards, by the way. Granted, there may not have been that many at that time, but 12,000 PSA 10 Trae Youngs were doing $800. Now down to 41.
I was going through some of my own, by the way, just real quick to interject on my card ladder. It has that collection feature. What'd you buy it for? When'd you buy it? What's it worth now?
Oh yeah. To keep
Not
track of your
even
portfolio.
close. My basketball collection, some of the most brutal losses in the portfolio.
Well, I think we go further into even giving some pricing later on in just a couple.
But things were hot, by the way, all of 21. Because even in
That's the
November.
problem is that a lot of this, I think most people would be like, yeah, everything was up. And
Sure,
you know.
but it is funny to see how. So one that came to mind, I believe my biggest loser of a card, 2003 Topps Chrome LeBron. It's a BGS 9.5. Now, granted, this is a minimum gem. They're going for like 23 to 25. So my min gem plus is probably 3.
Mm-hmm.
I paid 17.5. I am down 86%.
how many dollars is that?
Yeah, more than.
That's
It's not good.
not good.
Okay, next.
it. Even right now, he's crazy cheap compared to where he was at. Literally about half his pricing. That's a lie. About 65% of where he was at a week to 2 weeks ago.
Who's this?
And the dude scores in
still
bunches.
Trey.
Still,
He
Trey.
lit
Yeah,
somebody
it's
up last
finishing
night. I don't remember who it was. He went off for about 30. That guy can score at will. That's what people want to see. I'm a buy on Trae Young right now. PSA 10 Prism Silver or base rookies. That's what I would buy for his right now.
Oh,
All right. DeAndre Ayton?
oh my goodness.
Dude, 2 for 2.
First off, I love how like you're so proud every time I pronounce one right. But there was a time, even though I do not pronounce names correctly often, but it was even worse.
Oh, look at you just dialing up the names today. Oh, you're
Pretty good.
He's a little
Thank you.
DeAndre Ayton, to me, is the best pure center in the Western Conference. I think the Suns are going to be a
What
legit,
is
not
happening?
contender, but almost contender at the end of the year. I think they make some noise in the playoffs with him, CP3, and
Although
Booker.
they did make they did end up making the finals that year.
Again, just to kind of
He
give you a
was garbage.
baseline stat as far as card value, he's the same class as Trae Young and Luka, yet his Prism 10, PSA 10,
What?
Prism, PSA 10, silver rookie,
Work it out.
trades for
Got it.
about $425.
What?
Silver, $425.
Okay, that card today is
That card
40.
today is
65.
It's actually the exact same price as that Trae Young, $41.
Dude.
That
So
but here's
it's down 90%.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm going back for another pack of M&Ms, by the way.
I know we can hear them clinking around your teeth.
Click,
You couldn't get a gummy? Get a gummy candy. It's not as loud. Anyways, DeAndre Ayton, $41 right now. That is absolutely insane. But hang on, I think we also get pricing finally for what the trays were going for at the time.
Trae Young's about 2,500. Luka's about 8,000.
So 2,500. That was for the silver, granted.
Yep.
But 2,500,
This is rated
8,000 for Luka.
2.5 years ago is
Yep.
when this is. Luka went up after that a little bit. Like there was some Facebook sales in the 9,000 to 10,000 range. That card is now 1,500.
So
Trae Young, by the way, is like, is he 300? I don't even know if it's $300 now.
And so for Trae Young, he's 215 right now.
So he's lost more than 90%.
And Luka is 1,600 for his silver.
1,600 off of 8,000. Was
Yes.
that 80%?
Yeah,
Loss?
it seems like it's 75, 80, yeah. Absolutely. I mean, no one was going to ever say, "Oh, well, we had to be right in January 2001."
No. It is just funny
It
to
is amazing that these were the almost exact highest pricings that these cards ever got to.
Well, that also plays into the fact of why social media and content started demanding card content.
Oh,
like
absolutely.
There's a reason Simmons reached out to us the month or two before that. I mean, you think of it
Credit
back
to
then.
him to see the trend of the market, to know like, hey,
Well, we're in a contract year. All credit to Bill, right? Like greatest guy on the earth.
I love his hair.
Okay. But even like, remember Gary Vee was everywhere making content about stuff.
Oh, he's mentioned a few times in some of these episodes.
Yeah, it was just a whole different landscape then of like everybody making card content, celebrities getting in on a nightly basis, athletes, actors, movie stars, whatever, like buying into breaks.
Yeah.
That was really the height of it. At the beginning of 2021, it was like, dude, you can buy any card you want.
Well, at that
Except
point,
for Trae Young.
yeah, I mean, at that point, honestly, you could buy anything you wanted, but you were going, unless you sold within the next week or two, that's when you honestly, like almost everybody that we've talked about, you see a steady decline, or not even a steady, a steep decline right after that.
Zion is 4,500. I'm a buy on DeAndre.
Oh, Zion. I didn't pull up Zion's silver pricing.
I imagine he's only like $600-800. He can't be much more than that.
I'd be surprised if he's that much. The Zion news, by the way, that's one thing I don't think we're really going to touch a whole lot on because it's nothing, family appropriate to get into a lot of his stuff.
By the way.
Oh wow! So he's exactly 10% of what he was. So
90% loss.
not bad. All right, let's go
Not
on.
good.
And I think that dude can ball.
Jeez. All right. LeBron.
Our sound was
To be
terrible
fair,
then too.
we were
by the
also
way.
to have a producer like Carlos is just absolutely amazing. But we were also like on Zoom and like in our rooms with no sound paneling. All right, LeBron I think is obvious. That one,
Yeah, brutal.
yeah. This one I think was pretty good. Let me go.
All right. LeBron.
I would sell it for this reason. I think LaMelo's solid. I think he's going to win Rookie of the Year. I think he's going to have a good career. But LaMelo Ball stuff, if you have it right now, it means it's probably college uniform stuff, unless it's some of the hoop stuff that's come out, which means you should sell it. Because when pro uniform stuff starts hitting the market,
Dude, LaMelo,
all that
that's
other
enough.
stuff is going to start.
I actually I think that take overall is decent as far as why to sell it. Your reasoning to why as to why was
Oh, that is still consistent.
Yeah,
When the
because-
first stuff debuts and it's college uniform, you have a short window to sell before the drop of pro stuff. It also then creates kind of an interesting situation a few months after when the college stuff gets so cheap. It's like, oh, it's kind of a decent buy.
like it's oversold.
But you remember too, the whole thing with LaMelo was the hype.
Well,
His like social following was insane. His whole family thing.
I don't think we went into specific pricing as to
Doesn't
what
matter.
it was at
He
that
has
time,
been
but yeah, I was
destroyed.
kind of glad it didn't. It
Yeah.
couldn't have been good. I think we go. Let me see.
Boxes, sealed cases. I'm a buy on 2020 NFL wax of any kind, especially contenders and Prism.
So that actually may not have been the worst take at that time. I believe when we talked about it, because you and I had both bought, or you had encouraged me to buy the 2020 contenders football.
Yeah.
I got rid of it before it had actually dropped some in value before it went back up. I think for a case it was going for like 8,000 is what I bought at. But by the time, I mean, as of right now, I'm pretty sure that's selling close to 5 digits, if not more, right? Did you pull
I
it
am
up?
looking up contenders right now.
So that is actually
Oh, it's
not
out
a
of
bad buy.
It's out of stock most places. That's the only tough thing. Yeah, so it looks like it's like 14,000 right now.
Yep.
So that's
just a
actually
little over.
almost double what you sold for. You could have killed it, which means Prism's got to be
Although I sold my case to Eddie at the time, because that's when Burrow was on his crazy run. Ooh, I wonder what that's going for. 2020 contenders. Prism, do we talk about that at all or no?
No, we didn't get into that. But
we
just
overall,
talked about football. We talked about 2020 football in general as a wax specifically.
32,000. Well, 32.9. So 33,000 for Prism, which I think I sold to him for 25, 26 in that range.
What a stupid
not
thing
terrible.
it was for me. I don't know why I didn't hold longer.
You were not a patient man back then. You've got a lot of patience since.
Well, and you weren't like really. I think you were slightly nervous at the time too, because you were not all that like insistent of, oh, you gotta hold it. You were for a long time, but then you started like coming off that position, and then I was like, oh, okay, well, I'm just gonna get rid of it.
I paid $4,000 for all those cases that I had. 4,500. The Prism case I paid 12,000 for. I do remember that.
Last one.
Yeah.
All right. This is the weirdest one. Social media in general. Buy, sell.
We're new to social media. Sell it all. It's great for our careers, I guess. I don't like it because there's a bunch of weird trolls on there who like to make ridiculous comments. But I guess I do like it for that matter, too. It's kind of funny. So, I don't know. It's crazy to see how good it's been for the card market.
It's gotten
the fact
worse.
that there's...
Yeah,
I was going to say, it's...
I
would
really
like to know your take on social media today. Buy, sell, hold.
Oh, honestly, if I did not have business to conduct on social media, I wouldn't have any at all. None. I don't care about pictures of family. You can text me or email me. None. Because even like last night in the group, we have a guy text us and complain like, oh, I posted this. He posted a thing about Bleecker, whatever those guys were, and how he breaks with them and he loves them. They've never taken advantage of him.
Oh.
But it was like, but he didn't put the emoji like after the crying face and like the hands out like, well.
Yeah.
And it was like, here's the deal, dude. If you're going to post that, I have no problem, by the way. Post whatever you want. But you know how outspoken we've been. You're posting it in our group where people on social media take shots. Mm-hmm. And it's like, then he messaged me and the other admin, that Sean kid. I'm just like, what do you want us to do about this? Like, you know you're going to start a firestorm and then you're sensitive about it.
Oh, he got upset because people
and I was just like, and I deleted the whole thing because I'm not refereeing adults.
Yeah.
If you're going to post stuff that you know is going to stir the pot, either have thick enough skin to not care.
Yep.
Like, dude, I get some heinous messages, ridiculous stuff, even about family at times. I'm just like, who cares? It doesn't. You just don't read it.
Okay.
And then I also just get other stuff. So either don't read it, ignore it, or just laugh about it.
You get heinous messages? Like, you get people attacking you?
Oh, I get Facebook messages all the time.
Personally? Like, coming after you personally?
Yeah, they go to my message requests.
Yeah.
Like, which is basically spam. Yeah. And it'll be like, hey, did you delete my post? Yeah. And it's like, you're this, that, and the other. You're what? And some of the guys I know are listeners because, like, sometimes they're pretty personal. I'm just like, I guess it's like, if you're going to insult somebody, you might as well do it right. I almost admire it a little bit.
God, don't encourage it.
No.
I've never actually had anyone say it to my face, just like in general. Like, when I say to my face, like, message me direct. It's always been like on a post or something like that.
I'd say once every 2 weeks, I'll get a specific one like, hey, this happened, or whatever, you handle it this way. And it's like, it's social media. Who cares?
Yeah, sure.
I don't, but that's how I view it all. But, at the same time, other people want to get sensitive. I don't have time for it. So social media, I think, is an absolute train wreck.